Microsoft was founded on April 4, 1975 by Bill Gates and Paul Allen. Their goal was to develop a basic programming language interpreter for the first personal computer, the Altair 8800. Microsoft's mission is to help every person and every company on the planet achieve more. Microsoft's initial market capitalization after its IPO in 1986 was about $778 million. As of February 2025, Microsoft's market capitalization is about $3.09 trillion. As of early 2023, institutional investors owned 70% of Microsoft stock. The largest of these were the Vanguard Group, 8.5%, Capital Group companies, 7.5%, BlackRock, 7.0%, State Street Global Advisors, 4.0%, Fidelity Investments, 2.7%, Rowe Price Associates, Inc., 2.3%, Geode Capital Management, 1.9%, Morgan Stanley, 1.4%. Thus, Microsoft has gone from a small startup to one of the most valuable companies in the world, continuing to pursue its mission and adapting to changing market conditions. Bill Gates' fortune would be over $1 trillion today if he had not sold a single share of the 45% of Microsoft stock he owned immediately after the company's initial public offering in 1986. However, over the past 39 years, he has strategically sold shares in the company he founded to diversify his personal investments and donate much of his fortune to charity. Most of Gates' charitable donations go to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which is dedicated to improving healthcare and reducing poverty around the world. Gates isn't the only billionaire donating to the foundation. Warren Buffett has been making annual contributions since 2006. The Berkshire Hathaway CEO has also been a trustee until 2021. The foundation's trustee holds an equity portfolio worth about $44 billion. About two-thirds of that portfolio is invested in just 3 stocks. The Motley Fool provides details about them in its review. The first of the 3 companies in which Bill Gates has invested $44 billion is his main company Microsoft, which makes up 29% of his portfolio. Microsoft, which Gates co-founded, is the largest stake in his fund. Between 2002 and 2017, when Gates donated Microsoft stock for the first time since 2000, it was barely mentioned in foundation documents. Gates increased his donation in 2022, and as of the end of September, the foundation owned nearly 29 million shares. In January 2025, those shares were worth about $12.5 billion. The foundation only recently began selling shares allocated in 2022 to fund its grants and operations, reducing its stake by about 26% over the past 4 quarters. But as Microsoft's stock has risen in value, it remains its primary asset. The stock price has risen more than 60% since July 2022, the last time Gates donated shares. This performance has been driven by Microsoft's strong position in artificial intelligence (AI) creation. Microsoft has invested in OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT. The company increased its investment in early 2023, positioning itself as the best choice for developers looking to utilize Microsoft's public cloud services to build their own AI-powered applications. Revenue for Azure, Microsoft's cloud computing segment, grew 33% in the latest quarter. And management expects even faster growth in the coming quarters, thanks to major investments in data centers. Meanwhile, Microsoft remains the leader in enterprise productivity software and PC operating systems. This gives the company a great platform to sell its Copilot AI services to hundreds of millions of potential customers. Microsoft stock is trading at 3 times projected future earnings. That's a significant premium over the overall market, but it's worth the price. The company leads the market in two important areas of AI, cloud computing and enterprise software, with accelerating growth. At the same time, it generates significant free cash flow, which management is using to buy back shares, adding value to future earnings for remaining shareholders. The second of the three companies in whose stocks Bill Gates has invested $44 billion is Berkshire Hathaway, which makes up 23% of his investment portfolio. Warren Buffett has been making an annual contribution to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation since 2006. It always comes in the form of Berkshire Hathaway Class B shares. Buffett converts his Class A voting shares into Class B shares to donate his wealth without losing control of his company. At the end of the third quarter, the Gates Foundation Trust held about 22 million shares of Berkshire Hathaway stock. Those shares are worth about $10 billion. The foundation will likely sell some of those shares before Buffett's next donation this summer. The Berkshire CEO stipulates that the Gates Foundation must distribute the full amount of his donation each year, as well as an additional 5% of its net assets. However, the trustees have worked to maintain a substantial stake in the conglomerate by selling off other assets. Much of Berkshire's value comes from its huge investment portfolio. The company owns about $300 billion worth of stock. It also holds about $325 billion in cash and treasury bills. Over the past 2 years, Buffett has sold some of the company's largest assets in favor of the safety of treasury bonds. Meanwhile, Berkshire Hathaway's wholly owned businesses have performed well. Operating income rose 17% year-over-year in the first 9 months of 2024. The strong performance of Berkshire's core operations and the overall stock market has led to a 27% gain for the stock in 2024, slightly outperforming the S&P 500. But Buffett's concerns about the valuation of many of Berkshire's leading assets have also spread to Berkshire Hathaway stock itself in recent months. For the first time since 2018, Buffett has decided not to buy back any shares of his company in the third quarter of 2024. While the stock has declined from its third quarter high, the price is still relatively high compared to historical levels. They are currently trading at about 1.6 times book value. But given that Berkshire Hathaway holds $325 billion in cash and has very strong operating results, that could be worth the high price. Be that as it may, the vast majority of Buffett's net worth is still tied to Berkshire Hathaway. The third of the three companies in whose stocks Bill Gates has invested $44 billion is Waste Management, which makes up a 15% share of his investment portfolio. Waste Management is one of the longest-held stocks in Gates' fund, and the trustees have been adding to it steadily over the years. In 2022, the fund held 1.2 million shares, and at the end of September last year, the number stood at 32.2 million. And that's after the trustees sold 3 million shares in the third quarter, just the third sale since 2002. Those shares are worth about $6.5 billion. The company's dominance in the waste management industry stems from its landfill assets. Given the significant regulatory hurdles to buying and creating new landfills, it is unlikely that new competitors will challenge Waste Management anytime soon. In fact, third parties pay fees to the company for use of its landfills and other assets. Waste Management's position gives it several ways to maximize its profits. First, it has significant power over prices, as demonstrated in 2021 and 2022. It has been able to raise prices to keep up with inflation. Second, its scale allows it to create denser routes for garbage and recyclables collection, increasing the profitability of its operations relative to smaller competitors. Finally, it can acquire related and competing businesses, as it recently did with medical waste specialist Stericycle. In recent years, management has acted on all three fronts. EBITDA grew 11% in the third quarter on the back of record margins. Going into 2025, the company expects significant changes in revenue, earnings and free cash flow. In December, it was confident enough to increase its dividend by 10% for the year. The stock currently trades at an enterprise value to EBITDA ratio of 16. That's roughly in line with the 5-year average and on par with its biggest competitors in the field. But given the strong outlook for 2025 and beyond, they may deserve a premium price. There's a reason the Gates Foundation has held waste management stock for so long. It's a solid stock, a great business trading at a fair price.